I'm Mark Stewart, coming from northern New Hampshire, just south of Stewartstown there. I want to make sure that you realize how much I know your vote counts. It's precious. And I'd like you to consider using it to really make a difference. It's not going to make a big difference with a vote or a cluster of votes for Pete versus Bernie versus Elizabeth. It gets them one more delegate to have 3% more votes than they would before. 3% more votes for the unheralded candidate to turn what's otherwise likely 1% or less into 3% and makes the unheralded a player. Is this unheralded candidate a worthy player? Well, let me present my credentials, especially for progressives. I help progressives better than Bernie Sanders. I'm the candidate for small government. Small governments work decently. Our federal government doesn't. It never fulfills its promises. Town governments, they're within our control. And they're the ones that can administer welfare better, that can administer to schools better, that can even administer to most environmental aspects better than the big federal government. Federal is going to be, even at best, run for 4 years and then replaced by somebody else. If they're replaced by another Donald Trump, there goes Bernie's agenda, gone. If we have myriad local governments doing what they should do, no big dislocations. A change in mayor in 50 towns out of 5,000 is not going to greatly change the environmental protection that we do. Democrats right now have corporatist leaders and socialist leaders. And we're being scorned for both, okay? And we're endangering ourselves of losing to Donald Trump a second time. There is a third way. It's the liberty way. It's what almost all of us agree upon, but rarely do we have candidates who are fervently espousing freedom. I am one, freedom-minded Democrat, and hear how it plays out. I am for reducing corporate power, and that's by keeping government away from them. I am for gay marriage, in part because I think the government should be out of the marriage business. I am for ending the prison industrial complex that jails people for the silly crime of selling appealing stuff to adults who willingly buy it. I propose Medicare for all who want it. The default is you're in, but young adults can opt out. Now, Bernie Sanders will never get an appealing program passed. In year one, I will. Back to prison. I'm for rehabilitations in prison, so that even those doing time for real crimes can get career skills so they don't have to go back to crime when they get out. Some still will, but it becomes a better proposition when employers have the willingness, because of better skills and better attitudes, to take the ex-con. I'm for helping the needy. Individuals and private groups do help the needy, and they do it better than government. Federal programs routinely foul things up. Since 1965, when we started really the war on poverty, urban poverty has increased. Since 1965, rural quality of life has decreased. Big government is not helping us. I'm a progressive for elevating small business. We do this by eliminating rules that allow big corporations to take advantage. Big corporations often write the rules. They foist it on all of us, with the small not able to take advantage the way the big can. So you're worried about big business growth? You elevate small business by reducing the power of government. I am for ending the draft, which is pretty much over, but there's still a selective service. I would end that too. A nation worth fighting for can staff its manpower and woman power should we ever get attacked. I am for ending the debt that we foist on younger generations. It is immoral, period. We have the best economy of our lifetimes. Of all times, there should never be deficit spending now. I am for improving schools by giving families choices of where they go to school. It means we'll be ending the state government school monopoly. And this especially helps black families. I am for black prosperity in schooling, in employment, in ability to rise in the workplace. Black lives do matter, yet Democrat leaders make policies that hurt African Americans. I'm for clean energy and good environmental stewardship. We get both by individual efforts and by small government. Big government is always going to disappoint, and on the environment, that could be really tragic. In all these areas, we need significant change. But your traditional politicians can't change things quickly. Even Bernie Sanders, if elected, is too tied to interest groups that are going to hold sway over him. The way to change is to elect we who are untethered. I'm not getting the Democrat nomination, but a vote for Mark Stewart is a vote for better candidates to run for Congress, better candidates to run for state house seats. A lot of times state house seats go uncontested, and then you get a dolt who wins kind of by default. In a good system, ordinary, that's like you and me, is better than some extraordinary politician who is in a bad system getting corrupted. My upcoming book is actually a take from Jimmy Carter. 40 years ago, he published Why Not the Best? I say, why not the good? The people who are good but aren't exceptional. Good is better than what we have now. Good is probably going to get a better system. That's what we all recoil against, okay? 19% approval rating for Congress. However, everyone seems to like their individual congressperson because they're probably individually nice, competent, passionate, willing to serve. But in a system that's lousy, we get bad service. In case I don't look the part, too white, too male, too Jewish, please remember, it is ideas that matter. Democrats used to be the party of good ideas. Now, here's one, feminism. I am a better feminist than any candidate on stage who wants pay equality. It's because I recognize that women now are better educated than men, better workplace actors than men, and more capable of balancing their lives than men. The free marketplace has really balanced things out. Among younger employees, women out-earn men. So when other Democrat leaders say, gee, we need to legislate protection, recognize legislation moves slowly, imperfectly, and it's backed up by lawyers who don't necessarily treat their clients very well. They often leave them twisting in the wind. The benefits of women by using the free marketplace for their talents are far better than Democrats who want legislation and lawyers to take over instead. As for foreign policy, I don't talk specifically, but I do talk about generally. We should be waging peace. That means sending more American students abroad, engage in the cafes and the schools that would host us. Send more commerce abroad. Send more tourists abroad. Foreigners generally like Americans. They love the American way. It's why so many Africans want to come here. It's why so many Latinos do come here. It's why so many Asians, if freed from their oppressors, would come here. So the more that we're involved, the less likely we would be at war. As for local, northern New Hampshire issues, I'm in Coos County right now, and I'm the one candidate who knows how to get affordable housing in the North Country. I'm the one candidate calling for employers to employ talented people here as telecommuters to firms that need employees and they're far away. Telecommuting means you get to stay home. Where you live, maybe you head to the big firm 2 days a month. Okay, it can be kind of fun if they're in Boston or New York, but you're otherwise back with your family in this lovely great white north. And finally, northern New Hampshire people include an awful lot of veterans. I would immediately abolish the system that limits vets to the VA hospitals. And I'm a VA doctor's kid, and they give good care at times, but why limit it? They have a benefit, they've earned it, let them use it at any hospital, any clinic to take care of their needs. Oh, one last thing. Just up the road, about 12 miles, is a potential ski mecca. Now, I'm a snowboarder. I rode today. And I would love to see the kind of development of an old hotel, which is still there and deserves to get reinvigorated, along with newfangled paragliding, paraskiing, snowcat skiing, maybe even helicopter skiing. The snow that they get up there comes close to the snowfalls seen in Colorado. We could be in northern New Hampshire even more robust for tourism. It's great in the summer, medium in the winter. We can make it really, really fertile. All right, I hope I've convinced at least some progressives that your current leaders don't serve you well. Think about the outsider who, if elected, has so much behind him because not tied and yet still elected. That means the people end up ruling because I don't have to compromise the positions that I'm giving away.